In reality, what happened was we went from in racism to reverse racism.
The only reason we're talking about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark, it's not because of the triple doubles, but it's the controversy that fuels all this.
Let's be genuinely honest about what's going on right now. Because if you are a straight white woman in the WNBA, there is no way that you feel completely safe to say whatever you want.
Basketball land there in Indianapolis right now. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think it's a bunch of crap. I think the WNBA does not want questions asked. We here in Indianapolis are a little bit pissed off, frankly, because Angel Reese and her cohorts with the Sky have 3 times called our fans racist, and 3 times has turned out to be not true. Does our media, does our person with the Indy Star, Chloe Peterson, ask questions? Of course not. Because what the WNBA is want little DEI hires to follow their company line. Outkick Danny Zakshevsky isn't going to do that. He's going to simply ask a question of Brittany Griner. What did you say? And they don't want that. You know, it's appalling to people here in Indianapolis how often Caitlin Clark fans here in Indy get accused of rape.
With the controversial ending to the Fever vs. Liberty game, many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem, and they are demanding answers and they are demanding changes. Now, if you guys want to hear my full reaction and my thoughts on that game and the final calls of that,
just hours after Caitlin Clark led the Indiana Fever to a stunning upset against the undefeated New York Liberty, news broke that she had been subjected to her 11th drug test of the season, a number that far exceeds the standard protocol for WNBA athletes. Most players are tested only 3 times during the regular season. The timing of this latest test has ignited a wave of backlash, with critics calling it not only excessive but suspiciously targeted. Clark's performance that night was nothing short of electric. Returning from a 5-game injury absence, she poured in 32 points and set the tone early by hitting 3 long-range threes in under a minute. The Fever also set a franchise record with 17 three-pointers. It was a comeback that didn't just energize Indiana, it reminded the basketball world why Caitlin Clark is arguably the most exciting player in the sport right now.
International news when she was a prisoner in a Russian jail, held there for some time, freed under the Biden administration. There's a question as to whether or not she was referring to blanking white girl or blanking whack call. And our friends at Outkick said, why don't you just ask her? And apparently no one has.
But instead of celebration, the league responded with scrutiny. Fans and analysts erupted online, calling the drug test a tone-deaf response to excellence. Many are now questioning whether the WNBA is truly prepared to support and protect the very star who's elevating the league for both her enemies and teammates in the WNBA at large.
Kick wants a credential. They can't get it. You're living in the middle of basketball land there in Indianapolis right now. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think it's a bunch of crap. I think the WNBA does not want questions asked. We here in Indianapolis are a little bit pissed off, frankly, because Angel Reese and her cohorts with the Sky have 3 times called our fans racist, and 3 times has turned out to be not true. Does our media, does our person with the Indy Star, Chloe Peterson, ask questions? Of course not. Because what the WNBA is want little DEI hires to follow their company line. Outkick Danny Zakshevsky isn't going to do that. He's going to simply ask a question of Brittany Griner. What did you say? And they don't want that. You know, it's appalling to people here in Indianapolis how often Caitlin Clark fans here in Indy get accused of racism. If you ever been to a Fever game, it's all moms and dads with their daughters, but yet the WNBA allows Brittany Griner and others to make racist slurs, grab, hit, punch Caitlin Clark, but they don't want the questions asked. Look, true story, Outkick has been allowed in even the finals of the WNBA. There has never been an issue with Outkick getting credentialed. That's why this is a big deal, Bill, because all of a sudden they don't want us in there because we will be the only ones that ask actual journalism questions in a league that doesn't want that.
Today was one of those days where the air feels extra thick, like the league's trying to sweep the whole damn thing under the rug. So here's the rundown. There's been a big mess over what Brittany Griner actually said during a game, and honestly, it's got more layers than a club sandwich. Some people swear she called a ref or player a white girl in a not-so-cute way. Others think she said whack call. But here's the kicker. Nobody in charge wants to just ask her straight up. Let's be honest, the WNBA is treating questions like they're contraband. There's a dude from a media outlet called Outkick who keeps trying to get into games just to ask Griner directly, hey, what did you say? He's got better luck getting into the NBA Finals than a regular season WNBA game right now. The league hits them with no for credentials. East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. It's like a VIP club where the bouncers know your face from last weekend. The official league line? They're all WNBA teams make independent decisions on media credentials, but as a general matter, we approve everyone who follows timing and procedures. Translation, if you ask the wrong questions or don't fit their media vibe, you're out. The weird thing is, Outkick's been let into the NBA, NFL, and even WNBA finals before, no drama. Now, because they're the only ones who want to ask real stuff, they get ghosted. If you're in Indianapolis, people are ticked off. Like, truly, the city's not used to being the main character in league drama. The Fever fans are mostly families, parents with their daughters, but they keep getting painted as racist whenever something controversial goes down. And when Angel Reese from Chicago Sky called Fever fans racist 3 times, it all turned out to be nothing. So the city's sitting here like, why do we have to be the punching bag? The local reporters? Not asking the questions. It's like there's a memo to just play nice, stick to company line and never poke the bear. The folks who do want to press the issue, like asking Griner directly what she said, are the ones being shut out. The league says, it's about DI hires, follow the rules, don't make waves. Honestly, the WNBA feels more interested in who's asking questions than in what actually happened. It's like being back in school where you're only allowed to ask about the lunch menu, but never why the chicken nuggets are always cold. And the fans? They're noticing. People keep pointing out the double standard. Like they'll boot Outkick for wanting to ask a real question, but let reporters in who'll write puff pieces. People who've watched the league forever are getting more vocal, saying, yo, why is nobody in the room asking the thing everyone online is talking about? Underneath it all, there's this running joke, imagine being more locked out than the guy who forgot his key card at work. But it's also real frustration. Some Fever fans feel like the league just wants them to shut up and clap. The rest of us are just trying to see the game, not dodge drama. Meanwhile, the public is side-eyeing the league's priorities. There's jokes about how credential is just code for approved to not embarrass us. People know the game. You can feel the sarcasm dripping when someone says, oh, they just want honest journalism. They're not buying it. Some folks have even started tallying up how many times refs just pretend they can't see stuff happening right in front of them, turning their backs, not calling fouls, making it seem like invisible basketball is a thing. It's one of those weeks where even if you don't watch women's basketball, you're hearing about it in the group chat. Caitlin Clark, literal lifeline of the league, got sidelined for a couple weeks with a quad strain, and nobody even saw it coming. But honestly, that's just the side plot. The real drama is all about the refs, the calls, and how it's starting to feel like every game is a choose-your-own-adventure book, but the ending's always rigged. So while everyone's buzzing about Caitlin's injury, there's this whole other conversation blowing up about how WNBA officiating even works. Turns out it's less elite refs with years of experience and more, hey, you used to coach JV, want to work a pro game? People are noticing that refs are getting promoted from high school gigs, barely touching the G League before they're thrown onto WNBA courts. And what are they paid? Not much, somewhere between 35 and 50 grand a season, so don't expect them to move like NBA refs. What really makes fans want to throw a Gatorade bottle is the inconsistency. Like you'll see someone get absolutely body slammed under the basket, no whistle. Next possession, someone breathes wrong on a shooter, instant foul. There's this running joke now about phantom fouls and ticky-tack calls, but nobody's really laughing because honestly it's screwing with the flow of games. People are calling out refs for making prison ball the official WNBA style, and if you thought that was just online chatter, nope, it's the headline in every comment section. But the plot thickens with the revelation that stakeholders are the ones dictating the style of play. Not the coaches, not even the players, just a committee of stakeholders, which apparently means owners, governors, and a few people who haven't played since VHS was a thing. It's almost like they're using the league as a sandbox, making rules on the fly. Actual basketball rules? Optional, apparently. Fans and old school refs are chiming in like, you want to know why this league is chaos? Because it's run like a high school gym class. They're straight up asking for the names of these stakeholders so someone can mail them a rule book and a mirror. One former D1 ref literally said, I can't even defend these calls anymore. If a player did what Kennedy Carter did last year, I'd have tossed her in 2 seconds, no hesitation. The public's not holding back. You got some people wanting an independent investigation into the committee, others straight up demanding a lawsuit against the league for what they call planned bias. Some folks think the Fever, Caitlin Clark's team, are getting targeted by refs on purpose, like it's some WWE storyline. This isn't random one-person rights, it's a marching order from the top. Then there's the drama around screen fouls, which, by the way, if you made it a drinking game, you'd be blackout by halftime. WNBA refs are obsessed with calling illegal screens but will let an offensive player get mugged, dragged, and dropped before even thinking of blowing the whistle. Some fans are saying, let's just ask the deaf community to lip-read the replays, since apparently nobody with a mic will. What's wild is the WNBA's response is to gaslight the fans, saying, you just don't understand because you're new here. They act like complaints are just a phase, like we're all new fans who can't handle physical play. But people who've been following since day one are tired of hearing the same corporate lines. They want transparency, accountability, and some actual basketball, not Hunger Games with whistles. Today's WNBA isn't just about basketball, it's about who's allowed to talk, who gets dragged, and who gets a free pass. There's this vibe now that everything about the league is drama first, dunks second. The whole Caitlin Clark and Brittany Griner beef, it's the spark, but the real fire is way deeper. People have noticed that if you're a straight white woman in the WNBA, especially someone like Caitlin Clark, you don't exactly get to breathe easy. Angel Reese, Brittany Griner, even some media voices have been caught clowning Clark's race or using straight-up slurs. Is the league dead silent? But flip it, if Clark or another white player said something similar, there'd be more statements than fouls in a Liberty game. There's a joke flying around that if a white girl even hints at saying something spicy, she's banned before halftime. Even Caitlin Clark herself has been bending over backwards to not offend anyone, always apologizing, always talking about privilege, always making sure she's thankful to the black women who came before her. Some people find it respectful, others just see her on an endless apology tour, even getting roasted by the likes of Megyn Kelly for being too nice about it all. Paige Buecker's another white star, same deal. If you're not apologizing for existing, you're seen as a problem. But if you're Angel Reese, you can mock, post TikToks, and go viral for calling Clark a scared white girl, and it's just vibes. That's the core issue. It's not just about basketball. Fans see the hypocrisy, and it's why people feel like the league's become an exclusive club, where some players and fans get to say anything and others better watch their mouth. Some say the WNBA is now less about team rivalries and more about who can be the loudest on social media. People keep bringing up that time last year when Angel Reese called out Indiana Fever fans for racism, yet no proof ever came out. Meanwhile, Griner gets caught on camera mouthing trash-ass white girls, and instead of an investigation, it's radio silence from the top. There's no balance, no consistency. A lot of fans, especially in Indiana, are over being branded as racists just for showing up to games with their daughters. And the owners? Folks want Herb Simon, who owns the Fever, to actually get up and demand the league clear his fan base if there's no evidence. People are tired of the league staining their city's rep for drama. It's not just the fans who notice. Old school followers say it wasn't always like this. They remember when you watched for the game, not the drama. Now it feels like you need to keep up with Twitter beefs just to know what's happening on the court. Even the players seem more focused on playing roles, some the villain, some the saint, than actually running up the score. Another big point, the league doesn't want to lose the controversy because it keeps the views rolling. No Caitlin Clark, no drama, and suddenly nobody's tuning in. The phrase "the league is dead without her" comes up a lot, and honestly, that's not even exaggeration. And yeah, there's always that one person who's like, if you don't like it, don't watch. But the reality is, a lot of people want to watch good basketball, not an episode of Real Housewives with sneakers. People get that rivalries make the league money, but they're tired of one-sided narratives, endless apologies, and the feeling that only some people get a real voice. All in all, it's not just about the score. It's about who gets to be heard, who gets called out, and who the league protects when the cameras are off. If you're following, you know the drama's as real as the game. And right now, for a lot of us, it's the drama that keeps us watching even when we wish it wasn't. So here's how it's going down as of recent. A viral clip drops of Brittany Griner appearing to mouth something about white girls. Everyone's buzzing, people are dissecting the footage, and suddenly you'd think the league would just ask her straight up what she said, right? Nah, the WNBA, the Atlanta Dream, even Griner's own camp, all go on total radio silence. Outkick, the only outlet trying to ask Griner directly, can't even get a media pass. It's like the league set up velvet ropes just to keep out anyone with real questions. This isn't the first time. Outkick's ripped NFL stars, NBA coaches, you name it, and never had a problem getting in. But the minute they go after the WNBA's untouchables, they're out. That's a content-based blackout. It's not about security, not about rules, just about who might embarrass the league with one awkward question. People online see it for what it is. Media in the WNBA is basically a proved hype squad. Nobody wants to poke the bear because they want to keep their seats courtside and their retweets coming. And honestly, that's why the average fan doesn't trust the coverage. If a player can go viral for possibly insulting a whole group, but nobody's allowed to even ask about it, what's the point? You might as well get AI to write the press conferences. The fans are louder than ever, and not just about what Griner said. They're pissed about the refereeing, the inconsistency, and what they see as obvious bias from the top. There's a running thread about stakeholders controlling how games are called instead of just letting players play. People say the refs don't even try to hide who they favor anymore. It's like watching your little cousin ref his own backyard game and always calling fouls on his sister. People also keep roasting the idea of the competition committee, basically a handful of suits and owners who seem more interested in keeping things messy than fixing anything. Fans are saying, we want to know who these people are. Put out a list, let us write them letters, see if they even know how a pick and roll works. Some are joking that the only way to get fair officiating is to have NBA refs run the WNBA, or at least have someone on TV who'll call out miscalls just for a change of pace. And the Griner for arms dealer swap still gets brought up. People are making memes, calling it the worst trade ever. Some think Griner should still be in Russia, others call her an ex-con back to thug life. But the real vibe is, the league only listens when it's their problem, not ours. That's why you've got people straight up suggesting class action lawsuits or saying the WNBA would be better off if Caitlin Clark took her talent overseas. The other fans are just exhausted. They say the league's obsessed with drama, can't handle tough questions, and is more interested in silencing critics than giving honest answers. Some want to see the commissioner and half the refs fired, others want the league to be held accountable under oath for what's said on the court. But a lot of people are still rooting for the game. They want fairness, they want drama for the right reasons, and they're not scared to call out the BS when they see it. One thing's for sure, until someone at the top starts listening, the WNBA is going to keep getting dragged, both on the court and off. For now, we just keep watching, keep commenting, and keep waiting for someone with a mic to ask the question everybody's thinking, did you really say that, Brittany? Until then, the circus rolls on.